Hi, welcome back to C1Risk training. Today we're going to show you how to set up your internal controls in the C1Risk platform. And this is specifically focused on teams that actually don't have internal controls established for the regulation or standard they're going to be working on. We have a very simple way of setting them up and getting you started on the platform. So let's get in and get going. Okay, so here we are in our platform. And again, we're going to go back to our GRC library and into the obligation that we're going to be working on. We're going to be working in 27001, the new version, the 2022 version today. So I'm just going to open this, and you can see we've got 50 controls in scope right now. But if I go to our internal controls tab here in the actual obligation itself, you can see we don't actually have any internal controls set up right now. So what we're going to do then to set those up really quickly, nice easy way to do it, because we don't have any from an existing certification that we can bring in, we're going to just go to our control library here. And first of all, we are going to look for the controls, those 50 controls that are applicable. So we're going to use our filters for that. We're going to choose our applicability filter and just select those controls that are applicable. And now we see we have those. So you see we've got 50. So we'll expand that to the full 50. And then basically what we're going to do, a very simple way of setting yourself up. So you have a control that is mapped to a control requirement, an internal control that is mapped to a control requirement, is we're just going to select all of these controls that are applicable. And we're going to go up to our ellipsis action tab. And then we're going to see you have copy to internal control here. So we're going to copy these to an internal control. Now you do have the option, if you have existing internal controls, of linking these to internal controls that are already in your library here in your compliance tab in your internal controls library as well. But if you don't have them, again, this is specifically designed for you. This is a really quick way of getting you started. Now what you can do is you can copy this set to the internal control, and we're going to show you what that does in just a second. And now if we come into any one of these controls, what you're going to see, so here we are in the actual control requirement for ISO. So this is 5.1.6. And now what you'll see is we've mapped an internal control into this identity management control. And you can go into this and you see it's just a copy of the control requirement. And so what that does is it's got two advantages here. First of all, you know what the actual control requirement is for ISO. So now you know what you actually have to deliver. And so now you can edit and write your internal control based on this control requirement. So of course, this is where you want to add how you're going to implement this control, who's going to implement it, and how often you're going to be implementing it. You also want to build out your control strength and tell the auditor if it's fully or partially or not implemented. And you've got all the other requirements as well. The type of control, the frequency, the nature of the control, whether it's a key control and attached to a risk register or mapped to an asset, and then who is actually going to own this control and deliver it. Okay, so there we go. And that's how we map very quickly. Great way to get started if you're starting a regulation or standard from scratch, just by copying those applicable controls into your internal control library and giving yourself a head start on getting them set up. So that concludes our training for today. Thank you very much.